Hi class, my name is Lucero Herrera. This is the spring of 2022 and we're going to figure out what number is bigger. So to start off, my standards that I picked are for second grade, and the first one is counting to 120. Students will start at a number less than 120 and count up to 120. They'll be able to read, write, and present the numbers through objects and numerically. The second standard, students will compare two-digit numbers using tens and ones, and they'll be able to compare using greater than, equal to, or less than symbols. Some mathematical practices include making sense of problems and preserving in problem solving. Students will be able to reason abstractly and quantitatively. They'll construct arguments and they'll critique each other's answers. And the last one is they're going to look for and express repeated reasoning. So the objectives will be students will be able to count or compare two numbers and distinguish if they are equal, less than, or greater than using mathematical signs. Students will be able to compare both numbers using prior knowledge of counting to 120. And the last one is students will be able to describe why their answer is correct using meaning of tens and one digits. Some motivational ideas I'll have for my students are I'll be engaging with them by asking them how far they can count. I'll ask which number looks bigger and why. I'll create personal situations and ask about siblings and people in their household. Have them compare ages. I'll introduce and ask place value and what are other ways that they can count other than counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So first, the modeling. So I will begin by handing out cards with numbers 1 through 120, and the class will make a huge number line. I will model each number on the board with a marker, and students will have to bring up the number when they see and hear their number being counted. So we'll make a giant number line from 1 to 120. And then using the number line, I'm going to show my students which numbers are greater as we go to the right of the number line. And this is where I will introduce the shark, showing the shark eating the bigger numbers. For strategies, some vocab that I'm going to be using are ones, tens, grouping, greater than, less than, equal to. So here, students will be placed in groups of 4, and I will explain the ones and tens place through group strategy. So I'm going to tell them, this is where I will ask them what are other ways to count than the traditional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to tell them we can count 10, 20, 30, 40, etc., etc. So each group will get a number 1 through 120 and beans to help them count through grouping. Their job is to first figure out how many groups of beans they need to make their number. Then they'll compare their answers with their group mates and justify and see, they'll justify through their beans. The teams will then discuss and, talk about whose is correct and why, and they'll come up with a final answer to present to the class. Then the teams will be grouped and students have to figure out which number the shark will eat between the groups, or if they're equal to each other. So for application, students will draw their own sharks. So this is where it'll be a little bit more fun and artsy. One of the sharks is going to be greater than, one of them equal to, and the other one less than. Then I will hand out a worksheet with some examples on there. I'll do 2 examples with the students, and then they'll work in pairs to finish the rest of the worksheet. If students disagree with their partner, they will have to explain why they are correct using the tens and ones digit theory. They will construct this is where they will construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of their partners. Then the students will have a moment to talk about the ones they're struggling with before they turn in the papers for the assessment section. So as part of the assessment, students will turn in the worksheet at the end, but before they turn it in, students will have an exit ticket. So I will say, okay, students, using the numbers from the number line, you'll create 4 greater than, less than, or equal to problems of your own. And then they will have to give me an answer sheet at the side as well. Students can use their worksheet from the prior assignment to help them create their new 4 questions. And then at the end, they'll have a homework question. So I'm going to want them to collect all the ages in their household and compare them using greater than, less than, or equal to signs. And then this is just my citation work. Thank you.